What's up, Extra Butter listeners? On today's episode, we move into part 3 of the summer series. We have watched The Goonies, we have watched The Sandlot, and we're not going away from the old school classics as we roll into National Lampoon's Family Vacation, another summertime classic, another classic old school movie. We just keep knocking out the heavy hitters. So the best summer movies of all time, pulled from multiple sources across the internet. Slap them on the wheel, spin it, see what we get, and we landed on National Lampoon's Family Vacation. There's a lot of them. I know we've got different thoughts on each of them, but going to Wally World today. This is a 1983 comedy adventure, so another kind of family adventure, comedy family movie, rolling back to the National Lampoon with Clark Griswold and the Griswold family. Trav is also back, as Chris Berman would say. And we also want to dive into our personal Fantastic Fours, a spinoff of Shout Out Pardon My Takes Mount Rushmore season that started this week. So doing a Fantastic Four spinoff of our personal top 4 movies of all time in this moment. And we'll revisit this throughout the podcast. We've got some gears to grind as always. We had a couple of our members go see 28 Years Later in theaters. And I have my second AMC Screen Unseen movie this past Monday that was PG-13. A little skeptical about it as opposed to the rated R we saw before, but excited to tell you guys about what I saw this week. Make sure to go find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music to listen to our lovely voices and maybe even check out our pretty faces too that hopefully don't break the camera every time you turn it on. Follow us over on TikTok, Instagram, and X, the Everything app. Everything happens on X. Guys, drop a like, follow, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you want to hear next. I think the summer series was a good spinoff and a good chance for us to get into some heavy hitter movies that everybody that, again, for the third time in a row, if you haven't seen it, pause it right now, go back and watch it. Not easy to find on stream this week, so you might want to hit up a buddy to figure out where you can watch it. Excited to jump into part 3, summer series. Critter, roll the tape.
Extra butter on the corn for me. Extra butter. I hope they don't charge a fee. But it won't matter anyway. I got a good movie to play. I'm gonna ask my friends to stay extra butter for me.
This is episode 11, and ladies and gentlemen, Trav is back. Trav, welcome back, brother. How was the trip where we lost you for a few weeks?
Back out to New York, doing the old physical labor, working on the solar fields. Airbnb sucked. So if the Airbnb owner ever listens or watches this, it sucked. 0 stars. We had 1 megabit internet. Has anybody ever heard of that since the year 2000? I mean,
bro, that's like
I feel
80s.
like dial-up is quicker than that.
I was going to say, do you hear the dial-up tone out there?
Yeah, we were going to try. Bless Crit and Geese for hopping on to give it a shot. Second Crit goes record, my whole computer goes done. So
did it promote like high-speed internet, or did you even look at it?
No, I think it was just the closest option to our site that made sense. But
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, Trev. We bagged on you a little bit, so make sure to watch the pod.
Yeah, you can go screw yourself.
It was a kind of a combination bag of how are you hosting Airbnb and not having internet, and how are you not checking for that long of a period of time to have good internet. But if you manual labor, you're not sitting at home doing work. Right. But sometimes you bring the box, so it's like.
And I did.
Obviously, you didn't. Oh, you did.
I did, and it didn't work very good.
I can imagine.
Yeah, you didn't see me on.
No.
But it was good. Got a lot of work done, so glad to be back. We're heading back out after the 4th. So we're going to pick a better Airbnb.
Why don't you just live out there?
No. Screw that.
I mean, technically they do for...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sometimes
you do, technically. You just travel.
Yeah, for tax.
How many miles do you think you've done?
It's 1,200 each way. We've done it. So round trip's 2,400. We've done it probably close to 10 times.
Yeah.
24,000.
There should be a mileage plus bonus like United has for people who just drive distances like that all the time through the car manufacturer.
Whatever kind of bonus you can give me, I'll take it. But yeah, it was
Well,
good.
and then you're up and coming out here, so the boys are recording a little bit early on the weekend or the week.
Yes,
this one will be dropping to you on the Independence Day weekend on Friday, maybe Thursday, depending on when we schedule it. But doing this on a Wednesday before the Sandlot even hits you this upcoming Friday, so I had to jump on a little bit early for the holiday. Trav coming out to see Metallica live at Mile High. The little Limp Bizkit opening up. I'm stoked for that. I have to tell you about that next week. But should be a nice little extra butter weekend for the boys out in Denver, Colorado. And with that being said, and 4th of July coming up, Pardon My Take, a podcast that I'm a frequent to. They do Mount Rushmore season in the lull of sports seasons once the NBA Finals is over. And with 4th of July coming around, Mount Rushmore season, a good idea. Fantastic Four coming out. Thought it would be good for us to do for our first ever reveal of our Fantastic Four, top 4 personal movies of all time as it stands right now. I think that's probably changed for everybody listening and all 4 of us throughout our lifespan, but wanted to at least dive into it today and see maybe in 3, 4, 5 months how this podcast might shift your top 4, how movies that come out getting back in the theaters might shift our top 4, but wanted to do our personal Fantastic Fours in honor of Independence Day and a Fantastic Four movie coming out here soon. I don't know who wants to kick things off. We can go in a circle. We can list the 4, however you guys want to do it, but I don't know who wants to lead off.
Let's go in a circle.
Okay. Trav wants to. Okay, we'll go this way, and I'll go second.
I don't know who 3rd and 4th is. We don't have your screen.
That would be Trav, me, Critter, and Geese. Bringing up the caboose there.
Tommy Boy. 1-1.
Tommy Boy, 1-1.
1-1. All day long.
It's funny, literally, and also funny that I was thinking about this pretty in depth about. I'm a fear thriller, pretty serious movie person, but I was like, there's got to be comedies in there that have just hit home, and you got to think back to those that just the first time you saw it, what did it do for you? Tommy Boy is an elite movie. Didn't make my top 4. My first one got to start it off with Top Gun Maverick. It's the freshest one on the brain.
Yeah.
Movie's awesome. I did watch the original. Good movie. I think watching them in reverse order, seeing the newer special effects and whatnot, definitely had an effect on my opinion. But Top Gun Maverick, I've watched it 3 times since we started doing this podcast.
Fair enough.
It cracks my Fantastic Four.
Critter. I think I'm going to go probably my favorite comedy, probably favorite movie because I can quote it like almost beginning to end. Wedding Crashers.
Oh,
good movie.
That's another one I can remember the first time I watched it.
My 1-1 is Blazing Saddles.
Technically, it'd be 1-4.
Would be 1-4.
That's a good point.
Great movie, though.
Yeah,
are we snaking it?
We could snake it.
Let's snake it.
I think we've got to snake it. So Geese,
okay.
back to you.
I don't think anybody's going to repeat mine. So go ahead.
Number 2 is Pulp Fiction.
Good point though, Trev. I think if they get taken, it's off yours.
Yeah,
or we can repeat. Okay,
no repeats.
Blazing Saddles, Pulp Fiction, coming back to Critter Bugs.
I'm going to go with The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Homer
OG.
pick.
That's a good one. Dark Knight's a good one. I saw that one in theaters too. I think I saw that with you, Trav. First time
probably.
up in Minnesota. Coming back to me, I am going to go with my all-time probably favorite movie as a kid and now as an adult, and I'm probably getting the tattoo by October.
Ooh.
The Nightmare Before Christmas with Jack Skellington.
Great
movie.
Awesome movie. Tim Burton's a legend.
Give me some Matthew McConaughey. I'll watch it every time, although it's very long. Interstellar.
Yeah.
You took one off my board there. You took one off my board.
It makes it just, you're almost like you're in space, It's like you're there.
Incredible movie.
Back to me, I will do unconventional, but I really love them. Can we do series or do you want to do individual movie?
I think you got to pick one.
Got to be a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blade Trinity, the third one of the Blade series.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Love the Blade.
Wesley
movies.
Snipes, and I think Isn't
There's only going to be one Blade.
What's his face? Why can't I remember?
Great question.
Blake Lively and
Blake Lively's in the movie?
No. Well, who's your husband? Ryan
Reynolds.
Thank you.
Ryan Reynolds. You took one off my big board there, so luckily I had an alternative on my 4. So my next one, I will follow the boys into the comedy category because I feel like you got to have one. The first time you saw it, it was very funny. There was 2 on my mind. The one I'm going to go with would be Step Brothers.
Classic.
With Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. That first time you watch that is just, if you're into that kind of humor, tough to beat. Critterbugs number 3.
Yeah, I'll circle back to I'm still debating on 2 of them, but I'm going to go Saving Private Ryan.
Ooh, okay. Good movie. Mine will be the Grand Budapest Hotel. Really?
I don't even know if I've ever seen it. I know what it is. I know what it is. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Amazing movie.
Okay.
Round 4.
Adrian Brody's in it.
Love Adrian Brody.
Okay.
And the guy from the menu, I always forget his name. He was the Pope.
Oh, yeah. He was also...
he's in everything.
Yeah. Voldemort guy, yeah.
Yes.
The Pope. Isn't that...
Not the Pope, but the Conclave.
Conclave.
Never decent knows. Words. Hey, never fails.
Not a bad top 4 there.
You know what I was talking about. I got the point
heard you.
across.
I heard you.
Critters final of the 4.
Both kind of got a little similar theme to it. That being newspapers.
The Newsies?
I think I'm going to go Zodiac.
Zodiac. Is that the one, the Zodiac Killer? Or is that a different movie?
Yeah, it's got just drawing blanks on their names right now.
we prep pretty well for this.
Jake Gyllenhaal and oh my gosh, I'm drawing an absolute blank and I shouldn't be. Iron Man.
Oh,
Robert Downey Jr.
Couldn't think of the last name. I kept saying Robert what? I was about to say like De Niro and I knew that was wrong.
Nope, good movie. I know that one. My final movie, because Interstellar was taken. This is probably another recency bias because I watched it recently, but I've seen it a billion times. I think it's an all-time movie. It also involves a legend that I'm going to go see tomorrow in theaters in his new F1 movie. Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill in The Moneyball is an incredible movie. Based on a true story.
I watch clips from that all the time.
Such a good movie. Such a good movie.
Rounding her off in the old, I don't know if it's Teddy Roosevelt or Abe Lincoln spot, but we're going to go with Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. Hey, on par. It's Happy Gilmore 2 coming out soon.
Yep. We'll see if that changes it. Let's see if it's better.
Yeah. Speaking
I'm a bigger fan of Caddyshack.
Caddyshack, huh?
Caddyshack. Sorry.
Yep.
Caddyshack. I haven't seen that one. Threw me off.
No, you're good. I was just saying, speaking of part of my take, they were talking about Moneyball. I think it was today's episode where they're like, yeah, they just forgot to mention that they had 3 of like the greatest pitchers of all time. They mentioned all the other guys, but not Mark Mulder, Barry Zito. Can't think of the other one, but yeah, they just failed to mention that. But
yeah,
give me your honorable mentions if you guys had a list. What didn't you list?
On my list, the other comedy I was going to say, first time seeing it, I remember where I was, would be the original Hangover. That movie, saw that in Little League Baseball. One of my dads took
didn't we only
out.
do 3?
No, you had back-to-backs twice.
I didn't do the back-to-back the second time.
Yeah, you did the Budapest.
Then name your 4th then, bud. That's your own fault.
Blazing Saddles, Pulp Fiction, the Grand Budapest Hotel, and then my 4th one was Iron Man. That's why I was laughing at what Kurt said, because I thought it was coming back around.
The first one?
First one. OG Iron Man, ignited Marvel. Everything since is because of Robert Downey Jr. They didn't even have a script. Like, they wrote it while they were filming. Like, that movie is all time.
Good movie.
Other honorable mentions, I
was going to do, once you said Fury, or once you said Brad Pitt, I was going to say Fury, Brennan. That's one of my favorite movies, wartime.
Fury's a good one.
Honorable mention, Devil Wears Prada. Chick flick, absolutely great.
Yeah, there's some good 80s ones. I watched for the first time in a long time. What's the one with Tom Cruise?
Mission Impossible.
No. Dude, I'm so bad.
We'll
Tropic
have to
Thunder?
prepare a little better next
Tropic
time.
Thunder. Tropic Thunder's good. Rain Man. Rain Man.
Honorable mention for me would be Southpaw.
Yeah.
Also, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Didn't we watch
Also,
that
like-
at 1616, Brendan?
I think we saw it in theaters as well. Or I've watched it a billion times. One of Chelsea's favorite movies of all time too.
It's a good.
Another honorable mention with Tom Hardy is the fighter or the warrior. I think it's the warrior.
He's a warrior. Yeah.
There is a fighter too. I think that's Mark Wahlberg, but Tom Hardy's the warrior. That movie is all time as well. I don't know how to.
Did they get an Oscar for that?
I think we
I
could.
thought they got an award.
We could do a Mount Rushmore of actors, pretty good too. I think, with no overlaps.
We could come back with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we could do
I
actors
could-
and actresses. Honestly,
I was between Zodiac and Spotlight. That was my other one. Spotlight. I really like Spotlight.
I don't think
there's a.
I was thinking of
There's a,
Nightcrawler when
Or
you
The
said
Town,
Zodiac.
both Boston movies.
Have you seen Nightcrawler with Gyllenhaal? Pretty sure
Yeah,
it's
I can't really remember it too much, but I've
That's a
seen
good
it.
one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of the most renowned ones that Jake Gyllenhaal did was a murder mystery that wasn't Zodiac. I can't remember.
I think
I
it's
don't wanna give up too
Nightcrawler.
much. It might be Nightcrawler when the I don't want to spoiler alert. I think she's trapped underneath the car at the end. They're looking for her daughter. It's with the same guy from Warrior. I always want to call him Brendan Fraser, but it's not Brendan Fraser because his name's just Brendan in that movie. But I think it's with him where his daughter gets abducted and Jake Gyllenhaal's the detective.
Yeah, I think that's Nightcrawler.
That movie is awesome too. But next time we do this, I think the lesson learned of good podcasting is that maybe we know a little bit about our movies before we say them.
Yeah.
Not a bad list. I can't believe somebody's got taken. I should have started with Interstellar because it's definitely going to be higher. It would have been higher on my list, but I didn't know it was going to get. I should have.
Hey, at least it made it.
Get snagged. Yeah, absolutely, as it rightfully should. But moving into, I guess we'll go back to some other movies, just since we're on the topic, is newer movies going to theaters. I know Geese and I both went and saw 28 Years Later this week, based on the 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later. Movies that haven't been out in a long time, bringing it back with 28 Years Later. I guess I'll start. I thought it was awful. I thought it was terrible.
Terrible.
The plot was just, I mean, it had you kind of hooked. The movie's about zombies and the virus, and they weren't even that relevant, really,
It
to the
fell
story.
apart by like probably a third of the way through. It started falling apart.
And I was so excited for it. I think, when I saw my first Screen Unseen rated R, I wanted it to be that movie. And thank God it wasn't, because I never would have watched 40 Acres. And this one I went to see intentionally afterwards and just could not have been more disappointed in it. As a movie you get excited about, the Screen Unseen thing I think is awesome because I don't know what I'm going to see. And it allows these things to happen. And then I still got to go see this movie, and it was just, I mean, it was so ass. One of the worst movies I've seen in recent history.
Don't waste your money.
You guys didn't go
No.
together, right?
No.
No.
Okay.
We went the same day, but
Which is funny because we are all going to the F1 movie on the same day.
Not necessarily together, though.
not
No,
necessarily
but
good.
same day.
Yeah, same
That
time.
movie was ass, and luckily for me, I watched that on a Saturday, and I had another seen on screen movie the following Monday, which I went to, which was PG-13, which I was skeptical about because you had Megan 2.0. I had Critter sending me this movie called Clueless that was PG-13, and all these movies haven't come out. A lot of females in the theater. I was getting worried. I was concerned. Previews are going. You're seeing all this shit, and I'm like, I thought about canceling the ticket. And the theater was sold out. I mean, literally every row but like the front two were full. And I'm there, I'm locked in, I'm not getting up and leaving. And it goes through the previews and it goes black and it cuts to Scarlett Johansson and the other guy, I think Dr. Loomis is the name of the movie. I don't know his name cast-wise. And they're like, it just says Jurassic World Rebirth right behind them. And welcome to one of the first showings of, you get a sneak peek, or not even a sneak peek, you're watching the goddamn movie. and the whole theater just goes nuts. Just yeah. And
I was so
fired up.
jealous when you told us. I was like,
Oh,
I don't think I was signed up. I am now an A+ member at AMC.
A-list.
A plus.
Hey,
I think
A+
it does show up on their website. Just saying.
You
An A+
pass
product.
English in high school.
Yeah.
Dude, Jurassic World Rebirth. I mean, I think I've said it on the pod. If you put dinosaurs in a movie, I'm going to go see it. The special effects just always obviously are getting better. You think it's a dying plot. They've made so many of these movies and they've tried to redo them and they come up with these new stories. And I honestly think this storyline is pretty damn good for having redone these movies so many times. Like how they spun it this time was awesome. Kind of involves getting, blood to fuse to make medicine for humans and whatnot. So you got to go get some samples from dinosaurs and all this good stuff. And it's kind of the island or the Jurassic World of misfits because things have shut down and anything they kind of tried to make and crossbreed back in the day were left here. And you still get some classic dinosaurs. You get some that never existed. They don't really they have a name for them because how could you not? That's what you're going to find. But I mean, it had more jump scares than I think some of the scary movies I've watched just because they're dinosaurs.
When does it come out, Brendan?
July 2nd, I believe, is when it officially releases.
Cool.
But yeah, they didn't miss. I mean, you get somebody like Scarlett Johansson in your movie, you're going to do a pretty good job. And the storyline, I'm telling you, like for a plot that's happened a lot, and they just keep finding ways to bring it back. They did a good job of getting you to buy in again on why the hell they're going back to find these dinosaurs. So awesome movie. July 2nd comes out. You still had your classics, like your T-Rex, your Spinosauruses and whatnot, but you had some made up, crossbred dinosaurs too. You had a little guy that was kind of like the little girl's friend. That was cool. But pretty cool plot.
Was there a Megasaurus in there?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But highly recommend because I know I talked to my brother after. He's like, "No way that plot's any good. It's beating a dead horse." I'm like, dude, you get some dinosaurs on screen. Where else are you going to go see dinosaurs?
Right.
You're not. That's
Great
the
point.
answer. You can't. So go watch them in the movie theater. Because at home, it wouldn't even, I mean, yeah, it's still going to be good, but not the same effect you're going to get in theaters with the roars and the shit that they got going on.
And the added effect of not knowing that that's the movie you're about to see, I think.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, like, it was like when you're on a plane and people start clapping when it lands. Like, as soon as that shit popped on the screen and that's what we were seeing. And I know that you can see it on Reddit, which I never do. And I'm sure there's people that probably knew what they were signing up for. But I didn't, and I was very, very skeptical, and I could not have been more stoked when that came on. And I used to think that, I guess I've been the one, but we kind of talked about the fact that they're probably not going to put on a highly promoted movie because they want, eyes on something that maybe isn't going to get tickets bought to as much. There was actually a guy outside the theater handing out the little review cards to like tear and peel back and, hand back in at the end of the movie. And I thought it was 3D because I just saw this guy handing shit out at the door. So I'm like, oh, I did not want to see that. I did not want to go to a 3D movie either. Would have been kind of cool, and hopefully it happens one of these times.
That would be a great 3D movie, Jurassic Park.
Oh, dude.
Jurassic World, I should say.
The T-Rex, there's something about the T-Rex that it's been used a lot. It's the most, the scary predator.
It's just cool.
And when they introduce it every time, it just is a one-man wrecking crew of it gets the blood going. They find ways to hide it, so you really don't even see it before it shows up, and it's right there in plain sight. And you can't miss with the T-Rex, and they didn't. They did not. It was awesome.
Love it. I definitely.
I wonder. So it must be a popular movie if they're handing out cards. So it's like to expect that each time if you get handed a review card, it has to be. I'll say Blockbuster.
That's a dead giveaway.
It didn't give it away for me. I didn't even cross my mind that it could have been Jurassic World. Not even once until I saw Scarlett tell me.
Yeah, but from here on out, you're like, if I'm getting one of these, I'm getting something good.
I know. And I saw a debate online of like, and this is what makes me pumped about seeing the F1 movie, is that there's a debate of which one's getting more hype, the F1 movie or Jurassic World. So then even showed me more so how much they're pumping into promoting this movie, because I've seen plenty of the F1. I mean, the souvenir bucket right now is the 2 helmets of the F1 guys, the gold one and the black one.
Oh, really?
So yeah, they're not extremely big, but pretty cool. It's one that I might snag.
I think I
when
might
go
have
see it.
to.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, Screen Unseen 2 for 2. I mean, I told you guys, as soon as it flops, it's gonna be tough to want to sign back up and keep going. But it's
If it flops again, if you get back-to-back stinkers, that's ooh.
It's still something about the rush of not knowing, though, because it was 2 totally different experiences. The first one, I saw the movie ended and I still didn't know what it was called. And then this one, they had an actual introduction of them telling you you're at a Screen Unseen. You're going to be one of the first people to watch this movie. So the production was even different on this go around for what the movie was going to be. So I'm going to continue to go. I already got my ticket for July 7th for the next one. That's rated R. Can't wait. Stoked to go. And before we're getting into the movie of part 3 of the summer series, got to jump into some gears to grind. I've got one for the boys. Bicycle riders on the road. And I know that we've gotten to a point in time where there's bike lanes, and shout out to those people. I'll still get over if it's a packed road or busy road that you can kind of get in the middle and give them their space, even though they've got the lane, that it's there so that you don't have to do that. But you give the courtesy of the bike riders. I was going to work today, and it was just one of those days that it happened twice. So I had to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling up, and there's downtown Denver's had construction going on for the longevity of the time I've been working down there. So today, of all days, the lane that I typically am in for the last 10 months is closed. When you get downtown, you got to go to the right. And these bikers, and there must have been something going on, but these bicycle riders, not bikers, these bicycle riders, they treat themselves like they're on a motorcycle, and they'll just, you're parked at a stoplight, or you're stopped, and they'll just drive up to the front and get in front of you. Because, whatever, they got there are cars backed up because this lane is closed on the left. And these 4 people just scurry up on the front, and they get in front, light turns green. You can't move your car because they're not going very fast. They don't even probably know where they're going. They're not going to work. They look like tourists, and they're just cruising down the right lane, the only one that's open. And I finally get in my, I'm pissed. It's in the morning. But my lane's closed. I'm already mad. They shook. And it takes me another red light to get to my parking garage. And I come out at the end of the day, ready to go home. I'm off the next 2 days because the boy's coming out. And there, as soon as I'm pulling out of my parking garage, there's the bicycle bar of people in the only lane you can get into. And you can't turn those very fast, and they'll move extremely quick. So I'm waiting to turn out of my goddamn parking garage to make my turn home because of another bicycle crew that are at a bar drinking. So good for them, but wasn't good for those of us trying to get home from work.
Well, we were, I think we're going to golf, and I'm really glad to bring this up because we were coming back from golf or going to golf out in New York, and it's very hilly, very woodsy, mountainous, so a lot of the roads are tight. I mean, you got maybe 8-10 inches of shoulder on the side of these roads, and they're very windy, going uphill, downhill, whatever. I think we had 4 or 5 different bicyclists going uphill in our lane, going uphill, slow as can be, and you physically can't get over, and you cannot see oncoming traffic. Like, I get that you're biking, you're getting your exercise in, but if it's jeopardizing my safety, I'm choosing to stay in my lane. You know what I mean? Like, it's a gear to grind, literally, because pick somewhere else, or just get a stationary bike. It's jeopardizing everybody's safety.
Peloton.
Yeah.
Just plug that
screen.
Google Maps in there. It'll be the exact same road. You'll just be inside.
You think it's an ego thing? You think it's an ego thing? Like, look
no,
at me.
It's just like, I feel like it's just a logistics thing. It's just when they're out there, they're typically side by side. Why? I don't understand their position. If I was riding a bike, I'm going somewhere that is meant for it.
It's got a shoulder.
Yeah.
It has a lane. I can see traffic, and traffic can see me. If not all four of those boxes are checked, I would not ride a bike. Like,
no, who knows who's screaming around the corner, man? Especially on the road that you're describing. You could be splattered next day just as a bike rider, but as a other car driver, now you're responsible for them as well.
And they're on the lane. They're not on the shoulder. No.
I know what you're saying. It's just my beef with it is bike lanes. Really, downtown, completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
Out here, I think there's an argument, but they ruined a road out by my work. It used to be two lanes, and now it is like merging single lanes because they added bike lanes there. I've never seen a biker on it for 3 years.
I don't know. I think studies need to be made. You got to figure it out because somebody's getting squished.
The bike lanes, I think were smart. It's just there's practical spots for them, and not when there's a shoulder that's 8 feet large. Why are you not in it?
Right.
That is your bike lane. If I need to pull over, I can stop behind you. I'm stopping my vehicle. I don't need you in my lane.
Isn't a bike lane. Why are you in mine?
Yeah. You are jeopardizing the safety of anybody. But yeah, it's a logical gear to grind. It pisses you off. I mean, there's got to be people out there that feel the same way.
If you're a bicyclist, let us know how you feel. Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know your logic.
Your side of the story, because I don't buy it. Part 3, summer series. You got to have it. It's National Lampoon's Family Vacation. 3 classics. I don't know. There's a lot of classics on the wheel, but there's modern movies too, and we've landed on 3 just absolute bangers for movies of if you want to hear about movies that you've seen before or should have seen before. We've nailed 3 in a row unintentionally, but they were on the wheel for a reason. And National Lampoon's Family Vacation. I know they've got the Christmas Vacation, they got the Vegas Vacation. The Griswolds are legendary. I'm more familiar with Christmas Vacation and Vegas Vacation. Watching this one, I had seen it before, definitely, but good refresher of just the Griswold era and the movies that he's been in, and they've all been bangers. So, Trav, fill us in a little bit about the movie.
You gotta love a little Chevy Chase. Back in the early '80s, we got the fam going out on the old road trip. We're going to Wally World, baby. We've been waiting. We've been saving up. We're going. We're getting a new ride to go out there, and shit does not go well right from the start. And we end up making it, but it's a rocky road. Whoever wants to take it, go ahead.
I'll start it off as always. I always grew up with Vegas Vacation, and then behind that, Christmas. So, like you, Brendan, I've seen this film before. Legendary. Especially coming from The Goonies and The Sandlot. Like, this is culture shock to what we've been watching this month. And it scratches the itch you can't reach, man. This movie is awesome. It's
extremely relatable. All of these movies get relatable. Like, that's what's the coolest thing is coming back-to-back kid movies, being the leads and whatnot, and there's relatability in that, but, like, just the family effect and having all been there at some point on a road trip, or a Christmas party, whatever the case may be when you combine these. What I do forget is that they're Chicago, Illinois people. Like, 3 of us being originally from Illinois, like, it's always a nice, pleasant surprise that this is an Illinois family, and relatable to that too. I mean, I know it's Chicago and a little bit different, but that was just one part that I forgot. And like the music that you always get with these and the Holiday Road we've been singing prior to jumping on here, they set the stage really well. I have that as a factor for myself every time. But yeah, the Chicago, Illinois aspect always catches me off guard, even though I know it. And just seeing Clark Griswold it'll just fire you up.
He's such a unique character when it comes to just like thematically all the movies out there. Like, I feel like Clark Griswold is at the top of the chain when we talk about legendary characters.
Yeah, Chevy Chase does such a good job. Coming from his SNL I think his SNL is always so good too, but going into the Griswold and the Family Vacations, he's too good. He's too good because when you think of dad humor, you think of dad acting that makes you laugh. Like this character is just spot on.
And he's so relatable. Like I think about like Bob's Burgers, for those that watch that or have seen it. Bob is just the most relatable, like, and I don't have kids, but dad character of all this shit going on. And Clark is relatable at times and sometimes not as much, in terms of just how he is, because there's a lot of times you feel for him, there's a lot of times he's causing it himself. But just shit is just the plan and the thought of what he's trying to do is always pure.
Yeah.
Right. And like we're going on a family vacation. I'm a road trip guy. Flying is more practical. I get it, depending on where you're going. But when it comes down to trips I've taken, like the road trip with the boys, the road trip with the family, the memories that you make, the things that you see along the way, it is different. It is a pain in the ass sometimes. Like you prefer to get there quicker. But I am a road trip guy, so I totally feel for him. His wife is asking to fly, all this shit. Like, no, we're taking the car and we're driving out to California and we're stopping at X, Y, and Z on the way and we're doing the sightseeing. It's a family trip. We've been planning for it. We got the money saved for it. We're going. And then right off the rip for Clark, he's getting his new car. And immediately they just start taking those jabs. The car salesman of just completely trying to wrench you every time you get to getting a new car. Take his car immediately, just absolutely smash it. And the car he wants is not available.
My first note on this scene, and like first note of the whole movie, is the car salesman handshake. Did you see how just limp-handed it was? It just completely made me just cringe.
I
But
noticed that
true
immediately.
He's just whatever. Like, I'm gonna own you basically, because back in the day, like, you have to go there to go get your car. You can't do Car Gurus or Carfax or whatever you want to do these days. Like, he's got you.
Carvana.
Yeah, he's got you.
Yeah, he does, and he knows it. Like, we don't have your car. I'm gonna act like, hey, let's go get that thing out of the back. But this green pile of garbage right here, you're taking home.
Yep.
Right.
And it's better. And here's why. And you want your car back? Bring it on back out.
Yeah, here you go.
And just the classic, like, old school film of him going up to that car, just completely smashed, trying to get in. Like, come on, Clark.
You're looking at it for 5 feet, man.
Rusty did the same thing. It's like, and Rusty was like with it most of the movie of like, Dad.
Yep.
And he didn't say shit about that. He tried to get in too.
The best part about the early bits, and I guess throughout the whole movie, is the callbacks of some of these things too. Like they come back with the car to the family, and he's literally like repeating the lines of the car salesman.
Oh yeah.
Even Rusty's in the back like mouthing, "Yeah, this is exactly what he said."
Yeah.
Hilarious.
They wanted the Antarctica blue sports wagon, and that's just not. It's just not what we're coming home with. No. And I think they saw one on the road. When he throws
station?
his license plate.
Yeah, I think there was one at the gas station.
Yeah, because that's when he's looking for the damn gas pump, and she pulls down the license plate, he rips it off, throws it over the side.
That was actually accidental. He didn't mean to throw it when they were filming this.
Perfect.
Really?
Even better.
It kind of looks that way. Which is better effect.
Yeah, because it didn't hit where you would, if you were planning it, it didn't hit where you'd want it to.
No, he launched that sucker.
He said
the one thing that I thought was a common callback or theme for the movie is the luggage on top of the car. Ooh. Just from the jump, backing out of the garage, just getting raked off the top. And it just that shit could not have been less stable on top of that car.
Oh yeah,
it was never making it.
The whole time it just keeps getting bounced off the top rope.
We're talking 2,000 plus miles.
Yeah.
That's a long ways.
Yeah.
You drive like 1,200 out to New York, and it takes...
That's a shit ton of luggage, too.
Takes us 2 days to get out there.
Yeah. A shit ton of luggage.
I guess they were staying wherever they were going, so I guess that makes sense, but... Come on.
Yeah, well, and then I thought about this, too, and my family, luckily not one of them, but if we're getting in a road trip and we're immediately kicking things off by sing-alongs, I would have jumped out that car door so fast.
Yeah, but you don't have Bluetooth, You don't have Sirius.
Yeah, you got to remember the times, because
Man, they don't have like iPads to watch.
Uh-uh.
You're with your thoughts back
You're
then.
cooked.
That was the
Ain't no-
alphabet license plate game.
ain't no podcast to throw on back then.
Nope.
And they're singing the Mockingbird song from Dumb and Dumber, which I
Oh.
was dying. I was like, this has to be that Dumb and Dumber
That's
song.
the song.
That's the callback from it.
And we
But
get
no,
the
dude, I just-
Wally World song. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
not for naught.
That was the one the kids were in on. That was the
Oh,
only
yeah.
one the kids were in on. 'Cause other than that, I'm exactly the way they're feeling. And they had the old Walkman headphones, though, the little
Oh,
CD
yeah.
players in the back.
Oh,
So I
they
guess
weren't
you're
playing-
right. I
They
didn't
weren't
really
playing
think
CDs. They were playing CDs.
cassette
8-track, baby.
tapes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't think about that in the time, but definitely makes sense. They get through St. Louis and they point out the arch, and I now am curious if my mom did this because of the movie right now, or if she just knew it was just like, we get it, there's an arch there. But every time we drove past St. Louis or driving to St. Louis growing up, my mom, hey boys, there's the arch. Like,
Yep.
hey mom,
You guys
I
ever
can
been in
fucking
it?
see it.
Went there
No.
yearly, every
I-
time.
Yeah.
You been in there, Crit, at all?
Yeah,
I
I've been
have
there.
it.
Yep, it's pretty cool
Sick.
up there.
But my dad is of the opinion that he should inform me that that is what that structure is, and yes, you can go to the top.
Yeah, it's cool.
Every
It's
time.
kind of. It's
I will
kind of.
say, plan for a whole day.
Yeah, it takes
I
a
bet.
while.
They make you do all this crap just to go up there, so it's like
Elevator's
a
really
3-4
sketchy.
hour thing.
Elevator was sketchy because it's got to go up, sideways, all the way up. But then when you're looking out the window, you kind of got to like lean or like lay on it. But then when you look over at the Busch Stadium, that's pretty sick.
Great stadium.
That's pretty sick.
I would never go in the arch. It's not my type of thing. It's like there's certain rides in amusement parks I would not ride, like the one that takes you up and just completely drops you straight
you.
down.
I
Not
always
doing
have
it.
thoughts about that one.
Never doing it. Never doing it.
I love it. It's one of my favorites.
And side note, I just watched the Final Destination Bloodlines not long ago, and let me tell you something about there being an elevator involved in Heights because it's in there, and now I'm for
Classic
sure never gonna do
Spoiler.
it. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
not giving anything away.
Spoiler.
There's a tall elevator in there, and
That's
man,
going to be on
not
streaming here soon.
Not
I'm
interested.
excited.
Good
I like-
movie,
I
but
like
yeah, no
Final
Arch.
Destination.
Arch not for me. But then they're driving through St. Louis, and St. Louis is not the nicest place in planet Earth.
My dad's definitely taken a wrong turn, but it was on the Illinois side of the river, not where they turned off. Where they turned off, I think that's actually okay. I don't know what it was like back then, but really, if you take a too early of an exit, or you are leaving towards Illinois, and you're trying to get to St. Louis from the west, and you don't get off soon enough, you're getting off in East St. Louis. That's where the problems are.
And I think there's something to be said about most cities have somewhere that you don't necessarily want to be at. There's going to be dangerous places everywhere, but St. Louis, I think, definitely is probably up there in terms of cities that you could make a rough turn at. And Clark's got the best vibes. Windows are down. We're asking for directions. You get a gunshot, roll them up, roll them up.
Oop.
And he's asking for directions, and I'm sure you all noticed, but these guys are just stealing the hubcaps
Yeah.
off his car. He doesn't. It's clueless. They're all clueless.
Yeah.
As he's getting directions, he's paying for them.
$5.
And there goes all the hubcaps.
$5. Here's 10. All right, keep the change.
Keep the change.
Now you don't want to go down there and talk to my cousin. He'll tell you where to go. I don't even live here.
All right.
But I'll take the $10 in the hubcaps because they're already gone and they're now ours.
Now the director did say, I looked up fun facts after I watched it, and he was like, "That is one of like the most shameful scenes I've ever filmed in my life." Just
I believe
because of the stereotype, but
Yeah.
There was a couple
It
in
is
this
so
that were
funny.
bad. I thought
they
there
did
was a couple in
They
this
did hit the
movie that were bad.
humor. They did hit the humor points, but
Yeah,
understandable.
I think there was a few of those in this movie that were pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Mhm.
Pretty bad. But yeah, the humor they played it off like it was not anything too serious, which is funny. I didn't feel that way watching it, but I do like looking back on the movie. There's plenty of those parts that were
Yeah.
You couldn't
Done
make this
poorly.
movie.
No.
Couldn't make this movie.
no chance.
Although I will say, doing another rendition of a vacation, like nowadays, I know they've done like RV with.
No, they did a family vacation.
They did?
basically, yeah, with the guy from Hangover.
Oh, Ed Helms,
Paging
that's
doctor,
right.
you know what? It was
Yeah,
the dentist.
Is that Jason Sudeikis?
No, he was in RV, or he was the
4
one
times.
with just Jason Sudeikis was in the one with Jennifer Aniston.
You
The
said
vacation one.
Yeah, that was We're the Millers.
We're the Millers is what you're
Yeah.
thinking of with Sudeikis. But they've made renditions of this movie just
Okay.
in a kind of a RV camper type of deal.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen Vacation. The one that I think is legitimately a remake of this movie.
The one with Ed Helms.
It's Ed Helms, I think. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Sudeikis when you said it.
No,
I thought
No,
he was.
I've said
Yeah,
Helms.
I
You
missed
guys-
it too.
What do you
I was like, I didn't
guys
hear
do?
that name out of your mouth once.
You guys do this bad.
No.
Go ahead and clip that. I said it like at least 10 times.
Ed Helms?
Yeah,
Was it Ed Helms?
It's Ed Helms.
Yeah, this is the movie, the remake.
Watch
I
me
haven't
be
seen it.
wrong. Watch me be wrong. Click on that cast. Please tell me it's Ed Helms.
It's Ed Helms. I see it.
That's
Yeah,
who I
he's-
was
thank
thinking
you.
of when I said Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Could not remember his name.
Love Jason Sudeikis. But yeah, they did remake it. I haven't seen it. We'll have to probably
Yeah.
check it out at some
Have
point.
to be a watch. Seems like a
Um,
good late night watch.
a next note from this is the impeccable sleep driving by
Oh,
Clark Griswold.
All
I mean,
time.
he is out cold and just flying and
That's
just
what-
not hitting shit.
one of my favorites from these National Lampoons and like Chevy Chase and this era of comedy is like we all know that wouldn't work, like it'd crash, but
Right.
just the attention to detail of making it work just by accident and sliding in, love it.
And all the little details too, of like the guy walking his dog, yanks his
Yeah.
dog up, and like he's hitting alleys, and
Yeah,
they end up in the motel parking lot.
takes the perfect exit,
whipping that
and it
thing
goes right
around,
through it.
and,
Yeah.
and guess what? The luggage falls off the top when they get there, and oh, we made it.
We're here.
Motel. We're here.
Rise and shine, boy.
Oh, unbelievable! And then they didn't know. They had no idea what happened. I don't know. Right.
We'll say this: get to the motel. Totally forgot there were boobies in this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was either.
Totally forgot.
I totally off guard. Just I wasn't expecting it.
No, I honestly forgot too, because it just isn't a movie where you think
Yeah,
you're gonna get some boobies.
But it's of that time period where it makes sense that there is.
Yeah,
You know?
raunchier than you remember.
They played. I mean, it was like, I don't know how to describe it, but they did a good job. It wasn't like unnecessary or like thrown in there. It was your most logical times. And I thought that scene was funny because he's like, "Can I get your back?" She's like, "I already got my back." He's like, "Can I get your front?"
That is so Midwest white dad. Just
Yeah. Can I
Beverly
get your front?
D'Angelo is just a smoke show.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like for this time, is like
Oh,
that'd be good Mount
Things
Rushmore,
change over
gentlemen.
big hair.
That'd be a good Mount Rushmore.
but the "Can I get your front?" It's like he knew, like you're not trying to get the back.
Right.
We're all trying to get the front. That's why we're here. That's why we're getting in the shower.
Oh yeah.
But shut down there, and the whole point of like the beginning of the trip. Now I know he gets the quarter and he's got the wine going. He gets the quarter in the bed and it's shaking him up, and they get down. And she gets naked again, and the under the covers, and the kids walk in, and all that's like just again a classic. You predict it's going to happen type of part of a movie. But the whole point is, I didn't realize this watching it, and I forgot. I thought Eddie was coming with them. I didn't know they were just going to Eddie's house.
Oh,
Like I forgot. I thought they were just going to meet.
I remember
them
the aunt. That's all I remember.
yeah. I knew Eddie was in it. I didn't remember the aunt.
Eddie is just another classic
Oh,
Lampoon character.
I love that. Is he in this? Yeah, he's in all.
he's
of
in
them.
Vegas.
He's
He's
in
in
all.
Vegas in
Yeah.
Christmas. Yeah.
I made a comment where it was like, "There's so many recurring same actors for all the movies."
It's like
I know
it's
they
like a
swap them
standard.
out here and there, but
I want us to watch on the pod Vegas, and then obviously during the holidays we'll watch Christmas as well. So we'll have to find a spot to put Vegas in.
Vegas is my favorite.
I don't want to dive into that because I could talk for days about Vegas and Christmas.
But Eddie's in
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
great character.
And when they get there, it's just classic Eddie having a beer. And he's just like, Clark, man, he looked like he could use a cool one. And just hands him the one he's already opened and then just opens himself another one.
He's got a 6-pack by the ring. He's just holding on.
Slams it on the car,
Yeah.
on the hood of the car. It's a nice car you got here. And just giving him the one that's already open is just such an Eddie move.
He just took a sip off it, too.
No, it's probably lukewarm.
Yeah.
They're in, I don't remember where, Kansas or somewhere in the
Kansas,
middle.
and it's hot.
Oh, yeah, and that beer has been open. The one that he's holding can't be cold.
No.
But it's probably colder just based on more liquid being in there. The one he gave him, the lukewarm beer, coming from Cousin Eddie. What is the relationship there?
It's
Eddie is her brother?
Her
that's her
sister's
sister.
husband.
Okay.
Her sister.
That makes sense.
Brother-in-law.
That makes sense. Yeah, Eddie's the brother-in-law, and him and Clark have really nothing in common, but no relation whatsoever.
Or is it cousin?
No, it's
cousin.
brother-in-law.
Yeah, I think that's her sister.
Yeah.
Yes.
Catherine. Catherine's her. Is it? And is it
Audrey Griswold? No,
Yeah.
sorry,
no?
wrong
It's
name.
Ellen. Ellen or Helen?
No, it's Ellen Griswold.
Yeah,
and
then Catherine. It's Catherine.
Yep.
Cousin Kath.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie is just. I mean, I don't want to get sidetracked either, but he is just awesome and all
Iconic.
The cousin-in-law, Cousin Eddie, and it's funny. I have a Cousin Eddie, and like you always say that to people, like, yeah, my
Say
cousin Eddie. Like,
cousin-in-law?
Yeah, see?
I told you. You got a Cousin Eddie? It's like, yeah, I do.
I think of your cousin when we say anytime someone says Eddie, I think of your cousin Eddie.
I know, and it's always the joke. Well, you got a Cousin Eddie? Like, I haven't heard that one before.
I think everybody's got a family member that they can relate to Eddie, at least in some regard.
Well, then they had the cookout, and he's like, "How do you want? How do you want it?" It's like, "Oh, medium rare is good." It's like, I'm talking about the buns, brother. Like, there ain't we don't have burger patties here.
No.
What is it, hamburger helper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And he gives him the bun. He's like, "We got mustard and ketchup." Like, you just
homemade
condiment sandwich. Like,
well, and then the aunt rolls out just like, "Let's grub."
And Edna, man, what a gross human she was.
Legend, though. Legend in the movie.
I think she added a lot of value.
Yep.
Yeah, she was someone that called Clark out for just being an idiot.
Yeah, I know. It's just tough to see Clark take shots because I feel like the he's always means well.
I know,
all
but
he wants to do is get his family to Wally
I know,
World.
but it's always self-inflicted.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. But the end result,
guy's trying to get to Wally World.
Guy wants to get to Wally World with his kid. And then Edna has none of it, and then classic Cousin Eddie just pawning her off. Also needs cash. How much you need, Ed? $52,000. Oh, starts to put his money back in the wallet. It's like, I don't have $52,000 in cash on me. But then dumps Edna off.
The Edna statement, why don't you just ask him for it?
Yeah. Ask him for money, Ed. We know you need it. And not to mention, Eddie's kids are they're not into Game Boys and all this stuff. Kid's got a stack of pornos, and his daughter's just smoking the weed. Yeah, smoking doobies. And these kids are getting introduced to God knows what over at Cousin Eddie's house. But yeah, Edna getting involved in the trip is a classic part of it. And then her dog, Dinky? Just a spawn from hell.
Yeah.
Cute dog until they show it, up close. It's just trying to rip your damn legs off.
The classic line. Yeah, we would have brought him in the house. Sorry he stinks, but he had the shits yesterday.
Yeah, he's sitting out in the barn.
Running
shits. Those two getting added to the trip, though, as Clark, relatable, he does not want Aunt Edna and this fucking dog. You don't have enough room in that car.
Bless his heart, though. He doesn't.
What are you supposed to do?
But it adds so much to the film because, I feel like you get kind of bored if it was just, the family encountering all of this. Aunt Edna, gives it a little spark at this point in the movie.
True.
Yeah, well, and at the same time, when they get in Edna's, when you get introduced to the hot blonde and the Camaro or whatever she was driving,
Ferrari 308 GTS.
I'm thinking like, what woman does this? Like, this woman is driving by this guy family car, just keeps slowing down, and music's playing, and Clark's trying to act all cool, like right in front of his whole family. Which is also just, I mean, Clark's a scumbag for that.
Yeah.
Every time he sees her, he's just all in on it. And I'm just thinking, like, what woman does this?
Different times, Brendan. Different times.
Very famous actress, too. Or, is it
Christine
model or
Brinkley?
actress? Yeah.
Model,
yeah.
I mean, smoke, but, like, what are we doing? Like,
I was looking up her pictures today. She's 71 years old. Still got it.
Still got it, huh?
Really?
Oh.
I don't know.
I
don't know if I've ever said that about a 71-year-old.
Who's she married to?
She was married to Billy Joel.
Wow, that's
They got divorced.
Now,
Shocker.
talk about a legend, Billy Joel.
Yeah.
But she shows up again. Like, they stop for this picnic, and her car's broken down, and Clark's over there trying to get some dance moves on over by her, eating this piss sandwich,
Oh,
like,
dude.
And Edna, she's taking a bite, and they're like, the dog pissed on all the sandwiches and just rips another bite.
She's hungry.
And meanwhile, Clark's over here trying to look like a stud, just spitting it all out, dude. Horrible dance. But he just resembles the most Midwestern dad of all time.
100%. It's so relatable.
But Edna going back in for another bite on the piss sandwich. I mean, Clark already had 3 or 4.
Yeah, he's munching.
How would you not feel that?
You would
He's locked
smell that
in.
before it even got to your face.
He's locked in. You got a hot chick with a Ferrari. Like, you're not worried about piss sandwiches. Come on,
family of 4 behind you.
Come on, no, you're locked in.
Trying to look cool. But yeah, you're not eating the piss sandwich. Like, you're just not. You're going to know that. But shout out Colorado, because they had to go through there. I don't know where South Fork is, and that place was a shithole. They didn't get anywhere nice.
Oh, the pool.
No.
The idea of the pool. Could you imagine rolling up and you're the kids and you're like halfway through this trip and just the idea of diving in a pool next to your cool little tent?
Summertime in Colorado, dry heat, hot.
And it's just a shithole.
Oh, there's 2 geese in it.
I'd be screaming for my iPad,
I wonder what $37 cost too, because it seemed like they made that in a pretty abundant amount for the shithole they were about to sign up to sleep in.
Yeah.
$7 in 1982.
82, 83. I mean, $37. It seemed like it was
Probably like.
It seemed like a fortune to stay there, and they were not. It was not a nice camp.
No, and Clark is running out of money.
About $123.
Okay.
I guess
Leave it to us to calculate inflation every episode.
Yeah, literally the last 3. But we've been watching movies from the 90s and 80s, so it's hard because they made a fuss about $37, and I'm thinking dude, you're not sleeping outside. I guess he did say a tent, and it was little cabin tents.
It was actually better quality than what I was expecting when they said tent.
Until they opened the door.
Clark, this one stinks. Edna, this one's yours.
Edna, this one's yours. They treated that lady like a bag of piss too. Which for him, I mean, your wife, whose aunt it is, doesn't even like her. So you might as well just throw her in the shithole. She probably can't smell it anymore.
No, leave the dog.
Seemed like it was fine,
but the dog.
Then we got Audrey smoking weed now. So,
well, yeah,
her and Rusty getting after it.
Audrey getting the weed from her cousin. But the sleeping bag. Let's talk about the sleeping bag that Clark and Ellen are in. Never in my life would I do that.
No,
I don't.
Especially married.
I don't fit in a sleeping bag very good myself.
I think back to maybe you're at a high school hidden sleepover and you're getting a sleeping bag with a girl. One thing you're married with 2 kids. You're not getting in a sleeping bag like that.
I'm not zipping it all the way up if I do.
No. If anything, you just unzip it lay it out, get the pillows, and you don't have anything on top.
We're going hot dog
Clark,
bun.
if you're Clark freaking Griswold, you're getting in there. What a dog.
He's
Clark's
stepped
just
it up
trying
so
to-
she couldn't
dog.
get away.
Yeah.
Clark's been trying to get some since St. Louis,
Yeah.
and now they're out in South Fork, Colorado.
And then gets cock blocked by the fucking dog.
And she's just like, she's just in there like, Clark, like just suffocating
do
in there
anything.
underneath him. Like he's like, oh yeah, I got it, babe. I got it in here. Like getting all,
I'm gonna get it.
getting
Yo,
all
no,
freaky
didn't he
and
say
stuff.
like wild animal or something? He's thinking she's calling him. Wild
Yeah,
animal.
she said wild animal, talking about Dinky, the demon dog, and he's like, "Oh, I'll show you a wild animal." And it was, I mean, but never would I do that. Like that sleeping bag was like a 6-year-old is not sleeping comfortably in that sleeping bag.
With the weather outside too, like it's just hot.
And if
Oh.
Edna's tent smelled like shit, I can't imagine his smelled any better.
Shout
like,
out
you
to the
can't
front
get-
desk guy. That guy's a legend. He's just like,
What do you need
Yeah,
my address for?
be
Send you a
37
mailer.
bucks.
We like to send out mailers.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's munching on watermelon. Trying to think where we're going from here.
No, the I was my note was confusing there. They get out of this goddamn place, and Clark's got Dinky on the leash, and just ties him to the back, trying to get everybody in the car. And again, I don't blame Clark. I mean, I guess it's his responsibility at that point.
It's not his dog
It's
either.
so
he's probably not,
relatable though.
you know,
It's like you're
All
trying
the
to
shit
load up.
they had, and you can't get one person to just take the goddamn dog
Or at least
and
help you.
put it in the fucking car. And
I'd
he's
snap.
oh, no one's loading in. They're trying to get Edna. I think Rusty was helping Edna up the rocks. She's bitching the whole time. Meanwhile, you've got 50,000 luggage cases or suitcases on top of the car. Now Clark's got the demon dog biting his goddamn leg, ties him to the bumper. Smart play by Clark.
you gotta load
And
up.
then they just take off.
And you knew it too immediately.
You just hear
The-
the bouncing. You're like, it's got to be the dog.
The nonchalant just driving by Clark is it's my favorite.
And
You
there's
know it, but he don't.
just bouncing. And the cop scene, I think the cop scene's underrated because that cop
It's
pulls
improv.
up. Really?
Yep.
Well, because the cop pulls up pretty bad cop,
Yeah.
and then kind of starts to fold pretty fast when he talks about he had a dog at some point, and I got to go pick up the rest of the carcass off. He's like crying, and
Try
that
to
Clark's
play it off.
Clark's like fake. The damn dog, like lost the dog, and he just does not give a could not care less about that goddamn dog.
That scene, he's actually breaking character because he was laughing, trying to hold it in.
Because
Like-
the cop.
Yeah, because again, they were improv it, so he's like trying to hold it together, and so trying to stifle his laugh and shit.
And isn't after all this shit, and they're trying to hide it from Edna, like he was speeding. He's like, he wasn't speeding, and Rusty, I was speeding. Like
I was
then
driving
gives him
recklessly.
Here's your
gives him a
leash.
leash. Yeah.
You go back and pick up the rest of the carcass.
And Edna doesn't
Oh,
know
man.
anything of what's going on ever, and then she just notices all this shit happening. Like, yeah, right, too. Like
You
this
didn't know
shit-
your dog was in the car? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know the dog just got buried for 60 miles. His dog is a problem. Calls him a dog killer. The dog killer. And then doesn't the chick shows back up?
Yep.
Because he fucking starts spinning out all over the goddamn place.
Yep.
And I thought that car, I don't know what was popping in that car, but every time I thought they blew a tire and the car is completely fine. Like when that scene happens and he's swerving all over the road, finally gets back and Ellen wakes up, is like, what happened? Clark is just sweating bullets, holding the steering wheel. And she's like, what happened? Nothing. Like, wasn't calm in that scene, Trav. He's
No.
like,
He's
absolutely drenched in sweat. But I thought every time that pop happened, it was the damn tire, and it was like the exhaust pipe exploding or something.
Yep.
But
Yep, a little backfire because it
Clark's-
wasn't a brand new car when he got it. Like it was
That's a piece of
a
shit.
piece of shit.
Not really. It did what it was supposed to do until Clark, ran it off the road.
Dude, when he runs it off the road there, like right shortly after, and just rams it, and Rusty's like, that must have been 50 yards, and like he's kind of proud of that. But the best part about that scene is he's like, first off, luggage gone again, shocker. But man, let me check under the hood.
Yeah,
This
this
is
one of my dad's favorite movies, and he loves quoting it. And he forgot about this scene a little bit, and I told him about the fact that once they're kind of crashed, and Rusty goes, "Dad, you must have jumped that 50 yards." He goes, "Rusty, it's something to be proud about," and he goes, 50 yards. Oh, it's a classic.
Checking under the hood when you see the front end of that car, that is so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Just check under the hood.
The whole thing's just like, flat.
That thing is not, that's foobar, as they'd say.
The character of Clark Griswold, you gotta give him props, because he's trying. He's trying.
Oh,
anybody else does this. Yeah, anybody else that this happens to, you're screwed. Like, you're losing your cool or whatever. But nope, I'm gonna figure it out.
It's really the kid's fault if you think about it, asking him about the signs, and he was distracted, so it's like
they'd be bigger if there were roads closed like this one. Oh shit. Talk about just a wild time to have your first father and son beer. And part of that scene, not only Rusty chugging it, but Clark's glasses trying to piece it back together, and they're just falling. Like, for a second, I was like, "Are these magnetic in the middle?"
No.
When they started to fall off his face, I was laughing my ass off.
That type of comedy acting you don't see anymore either, which I miss. Where it's like it's kind of prop, but kind of just
it's either really
humor.
subtle or like right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that. And it's something I've always kind of thought, and shout out to Sandler and Farley and some of these guys that kind of did comedy throughout this time too, or getting close to their era. Is like, I find vulgar humor very funny, like Will Ferrell, guys throwing out the F-bomb, and I know Clark ripped a couple here that we'll get to. But like, when you can be that funny and not be swearing, for somebody like me who I think that shit is funny, like I'd mentioned Step Brothers being in my top movies, The Hangover. But like guys like Chevy Chase and John Candy, who I forgot was in this movie, and Farley and Sandler, and those guys like that are making you like laugh out loud, and they're not doing the vulgar humor that you prefer or maybe like think is more funny. I think that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
And like, the shout out to those guys for doing it. It is to make a comedy movie and make somebody like me laugh when the kind of humor I have is like more vulgar, sickening, like whatever type of humor you want to say. Like, it goes a long way.
I think that class of SNL comedians and actors brought that in, and that's what we grew up with movies, although they were from the late 80s, mid 90s or whatever, but like we watched them growing up. That type of comedy, it still lives up today. Like, I try to, like, that's my kind of humor. I like to push that out and be that way too. And it is a little bit cleaner, and you can say it to anybody, but yeah, I do appreciate some vulgar stuff too.
Well, it's just, and it's like little lines when Clark's talking to Rusty about, my family used to do these trips, and it's 18 years with just no fun. It's like, just those one-liners is just like, you're not ready for it, because it's not the type of humor you're used to.
And the no like audience reaction, like, not that you're expecting it in a movie, but like, sitcoms where you're waiting for the laugh track. No laugh track in movies is clutch. Love it. Because if you don't get it, then it just keeps moving on. But if you think it's funny, you got it.
And it's almost like, it almost has an element of dumb humor.
Yep.
Like, just saying the dumbest shit. Like, yeah, you know what, guys? Rusty, you hold down the fort here, there's got to be a gas station nearby. Like, we're in the middle of the desert. I haven't seen a gas station in 100 miles. Like, there's no gas station nearby, and he would have died going on the trek that he went on in order to find it. And he talked about how he was going to die. And then the slight
Death Valley. I think that's what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Death
like
Valley.
Is it Arizona or
yeah.
I think it's in California.
Or Nevada.
I think it crosses
Arizona, California,
state
one of
lines.
those. Yeah, one of those three.
But yeah, no, you go in there, you're toast, and that's
Or the
just-
Undertaker's from Death Valley.
Right.
Oh, and then him coming up, going through the progression of just singing, motivating himself, and then losing his clothes, and tying them around his head. I got I don't know what came first, that or Star Wars, but him coming over the sand dune just reminded me of that. I know you don't have to agree with me, but that's
I'm talking about the jeans.
yeah.
I've never seen Star Wars.
I don't know what
so.
what character or animal, whatever alien that is, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
C-3PO and R2-D2 coming up over the sand dunes.
Episode 4.
I've never seen Star Wars. I wasn't going to shit on it. I didn't know what
I'm
you were
with you,
talking
Geese.
about.
I'm with you.
And I also didn't know which one came first, so I was going to be of no help to that conversation. So, but yeah, the jeans on the head was also like, if you're trying to cool down, throw them over the shoulder. I don't think you tied the belt to the forehead.
You're
That's gotta
also
be hot.
hallucinating and ready to die.
And the guys that saved the family saw him like, this jackass.
Yeah.
Star Wars was 77, so
I figured.
Yep.
I wanted to say that, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Not
Wars
77,
reference?
just thought it might have been sooner.
no, yeah, I knew it was around that time period.
But
But yeah, the jeans on the head is not.
love when he come walking up and Ellen's just on the phone describing his ass. He's just stumbling in, ready to die. Hey, what?
And he's like, you guys need a drink? Yeah, me too. Yeah, like, dude, you need a drink worse than anybody here.
And it's the same cowboys that helped them that saw him was like, what an asshole.
You're right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they saw him struggling out there, and they just let him fuck off and
Fuck off.
do his own thing, and then they end up getting a tow truck out there to God knows where to get them back to the gas station first, and then he gets absolutely jobbed by the mechanics in town.
I love that conversation. Like, what do I owe you?
Another one of my favorite lines my dad likes to use.
What do you got?
Like if you get in any type of trouble like that, like they're gonna do that to you. How much?
Oh yeah.
How much is it? How much you got?
And
Which-
they took everything.
Yeah, I believe it's 500.
Yeah,
That's the last
The
of his
rest of his
money.
cash.
last of his cash.
Yep.
God, I don't know how much Eddie got. 500,000, all of it, most of what they had. And then he just takes and he's like, let me, I'll report you guys to the sheriff. And they start laughing, just slaps the badge over on it. I am the sheriff. The town is 10 people. We run the show. But then they get back in the car. Somehow this car is just pristine now.
No, the wheels.
So, I mean, $500.
the wheels.
That's true. The wheels were ass. But the car, I mean, to be able to drive that car after that is just, I mean, those mechanics deserve the $500.
Right.
That thing was shot. And then I believe Edna dies in this next scene because they're out of money and they ask to take the babysitting money. And Ellen's like, no, like, come on, Clark.
Well,
And-
they stop first to get cash, and that's where Clark's credit card's declining because he canceled Ellen's credit card because one of the bags fell off. And then he tries to write a check, and he can't write the check because he doesn't have a valid credit card.
Yep.
I'd be
So
so
then-
pissed back in the
So
day.
he
He
just
smacks the
stole it.
table.
Yeah.
When he smacks the table and the cash register opens, you just know it's coming too.
And he takes the hat for good measure.
Oh yeah. Hey Clark.
But yeah,
don't
that's
you
where they get.
Don't you want to look
cash.
at the? Don't you want to look at the Grand Canyon? He grabs her by the shoulder, looks for like 0.2 seconds. All right, let's go.
the most non Clark of the whole movie? Like a telltale sign something's wrong with this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
He did something wrong. Like he's not just staring at the Grand Canyon after he wanted to see the mud house back before they went to Eddie's.
Time to go.
But then, yeah, the whole conversation with Rusty of look through her purse. Go ahead and get in there.
You gotta unzip it.
11 cents.
Rusty,
Wasn't
unzip
it
it.
11 cents?
Yeah.
And the only reason they talk about the whole looking through their shit is because wasn't he talking about how Audrey's smoking dope? And he's like, you've been looking through my purse? And she's like, you've been looking through her stuff? And then he's like, Rusty, go ahead and look through there. Look through there. 11 cents. What a bummer.
Oh yeah.
Hoping to find
Edna's
some cash.
the biggest sleaze out there, man. Like,
Mhm.
you're having people
Yeah, she's-
drive you home. How did you get out to Eddie's in the first place?
I'm sure the brother dropped her off because he was sick of taking care of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think that's right. And then they were just taking her back.
Taking turns.
Yeah, taking her back to Phoenix for the brother to take her back.
Yep.
And then she is dead in the car.
Yep.
What would you guys have done in that situation? I'm very curious. Because when they stopped, I mean, Rusty was all in on just putting her out there, and then Audrey was in, like, they'd find her because the buzzards had come.
Yeah, look. I mean, honestly.
I'm putting her in the trunk at bare minimum.
They couldn't have. They had to have had a trunk, but the amount of luggage on top.
Oh, no, they couldn't do the trunk. Yeah, you're right, because of the wagon. It was all open on the inside, so you couldn't do the trunk.
Put her on the
You
top.
got to put her on the roof, dude. She's going to start smelling
Put her on the top.
quick.
I think.
Not like that, though. I would have laid her down and tied her up.
Hey, you do have the leash again.
Yeah, put her on the back. Dude, I'm just trying to think. Like, I'm not driving that far with a dead
No,
body.
yeah. I mean, you'd have to stop at a funeral home, hospital. There's got to be some place somewhere that is on the way to where you're going.
Because you can't leave her outside.
No.
Because now you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
putting her in the car. You know, I
Yeah.
think what they did probably made the most sense. Now, I wouldn't have driven all the way to the house.
Well, I wouldn't have had her sitting up. First off,
Very funny though.
I would have had her
Very
laid down on the roof of the car. I think is the way to go.
You would have had to stack the luggage on top of her just to hide the fact that you have a dead carcass on top
but
of your car.
I don't think she's going to complain.
No, but you also don't want people seeing the body.
No, I agree. I know, yeah. That's why it's like she's sitting up like that. You can see the back of her head because the towel doesn't cover it.
Yeah, and just in typical Griswold fashion, we're in Phoenix, Arizona, and just a torrential downpour of rain. That just does not happen very often out there. If it does, maybe for 20 minutes, but just an absolute downpour.
It rained like that today while I was watching the movie. I looked out the window, I was like, yeah, that's a lot of rain.
Dude,
We got a lot of rain just the day ago, Trav. So I wonder if it's the same weather system.
We got same water.
I got hammered today for about 15 minutes. Hail,
We got-
just torrential downpour for 15 minutes, and then it was sunny again.
The north always gets it worse than the south.
I don't know. They do.
You're
but,
at
like,
the foothills though, so that
I don't get it as much as like Castle Rock, but like we got it yesterday, and I was on the phone. My power cut out, and I was just like froze. Like on the phone, I just completely stopped listening to who I was talking to. I'm looking outside, lightning coming down, thunder loud as shit,
Yeah.
louder than. It's like you don't get that as much in Colorado as we did in the Midwest watching
I
storms.
love watching storms, dude.
Oh, I do too. I do
It's
too.
his
And like,
favorite weather.
It's
I just
best.
locked into the outdoors through my window and like
The
power goes
smell
out.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, like on the
Awesome.
blacktop. Yeah, but we had that yesterday. But in like you're just it just classic Griswold fashion. You're just gonna this dead body's on
Worst
top of your
luck.
car and it's just downpouring. And then I think they probably did the right thing. I don't
No,
think
yeah,
the-
no, I
probably not
completely
the-
agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't.
In
the
that
right thing, I don't
situation, no, yeah, but in that situation, that was the correct move. That whole scene, I'm thinking, he's gonna come home and think she died there, like sitting waiting for him to come home, and she died.
Yep.
Blood's off your hands at that point if he thinks that. That's yeah. And the obituary, the live comments and Clark's talking and she's just completely just mailing it and she finally was like, we're gonna do this the right way, I'll do it. And she starts talking and Audrey's like, let's not overdo it, Mom. Like we didn't really fucking care about this lady that much.
No,
We didn't all love her to death and all this stuff. Like it was a nuisance of her to be with us, and let's chill out a little bit here on this talk about how much we loved Aunt Edna. They barely probably even knew her. Audrey and Rusty probably barely knew the woman.
Right.
You know?
more Ellen than anybody.
She was like I said, a nuisance to this trip.
Oh
for
yeah,
them.
Good
So the
riddance.
kids didn't care.
and
Interesting way to get introduced to death, though.
And she and her dog died, so good riddance.
Both on the trip, yeah. And this is where we get the real Clark of everything boils over. I don't want to go anymore, Dad. We're not going. let's turn around and go home. They've been on this trip for however many days, however many miles. He just hits them with, I think you're all fucked in the head. Like, we're going to Wally World. Like,
yeah, let's just go home. Like,
My dad's
that's why I
favorite
think,
line, not to cut you off, Brendan, my dad's favorite line is when he says, "It's going to take a plastic surgeon to remove the smile off of your face."
You'll be whistling zippity doodah at your assholes or something like that.
Yep.
That's where the humor that we talked about earlier comes into play. When they do rip an F-bomb or something, it just catches you off guard.
Oh yeah.
I think you're all fucked in the head. And like,
That look on his face.
Well, it's so more impactful too. Like,
yeah,
it's used for the joke in a specific way.
Yep. Relatable too. You know, Midwest dad really
Oh.
turning over. He not happy.
we are not
Turn
turning
around.
this.
Everyone's
Damn,
bagging
bus
on you
around.
this whole trip that you put together. You're spending your money on that. You're driving, and yet just
Well, and then they stay another night there because they get there and they're all in the rooms and Clark's sitting in the dump trying to hit on. And I wrote down again, like, Clark's a sleazeball. He's just hitting on all these chicks at the bar. They've
That's
got
the way
husbands
they
or
were
boyfriends
back
coming
then,
up.
though. That's the way they
That's
were.
true. Yeah,
just dirt bags, man.
Dirt bags and dirt balls.
absolutely.
Just dirt.
And he's just hitting on everyone, and it shows up, happens to be there. She's on her way to
Brinkley.
must be on her way to Wally World as well,
Mm-hmm.
because every single stop they made, here she comes, and then
Ti-
hits it off.
Yeah, typical Clark just bullshitting.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I own the
no,
circle.
no, I'm not in the CIA, but I used to be. I used to be in the CIA. I own these chains, and I thought you were gonna hit me with the CIA. Like, I know, I'm not in the CIA, but I used to be in the CIA. I don't like to talk about it. Ordinary guy. But just getting yourself into trouble. Clark just going skinny dipping, wakes up the whole motel.
How
Just
cold is that
freezing
water?
Not that cold, I don't think. She just jumped in, didn't bat an eye.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is you wanted to get caught? This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
I think it was cold. I think it was cold, and she was just a dog.
I don't think it could be that cold in the middle of Arizona. I mean, yeah, it's probably chilled, maybe. But getting in the water out there, it has to be, I think, chilled because it would just be a hot tub if it wasn't. It was nighttime. But wakes up the whole damn place.
Brings the
Everybody
whole neighborhood.
and his kids and his wife come out.
Oh,
and he's got a
I felt
son.
terrible. Like, it just, you come out to that and it's public. Like, oh, man.
And he's like, it's a swimming waitress. Oh, girl. He's like, she just in here. I just had to cool off. It's hot.
And that's why I screamed, because I didn't know anybody else was in here.
Yeah, caught me by surprise. But that's where I go back to the beginning of the movie of Rusty always being on top of his bullshit, but like it's dad, he gets it. He's like, no, I didn't know that girl. It was a swimming waitress. Like, no, it's not. I wasn't with her. Like, you think mom's gonna buy that? I don't think so, buddy. But she didn't buy it. But like her reaction of like, let's just get back in there butt naked. Like, yeah, right, dude.
Right,
I don't know.
That time period though, man. Like, I know a lot of women that would be like the last straw, but in those types of families, I guess it's
She thinks she's just lost her fastball.
yeah.
Is what I kinda
it's
got.
her fault that he's doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how you got to interpret it from the movie. But
Yeah.
it's still weird. Like,
But she goes fully nude to make up for it.
yeah, you
Appreciated by
I
know what he was trying
What
to
a-
do in that pool. You're not an idiot.
Oh yeah.
You know?
What a repercussion. Let's just, me and my wife now will go jump in the pool butt ass naked. And then she's going to wake up the whole goddamn motel.
Yep.
It's like, you can play the time frame game, I understand, but just this doesn't feel like you're coming out of that one unscathed.
Right.
No.
What?
I was gonna say there's repercussions for that at some point, but
No, but we get to LA, right? We go through the shit. The chick's gone. We get to LA. And we see the first exit for Wally World. And we've been on this journey and we get
Euphoric.
to Wally World. Where, if anybody knows, where was like the filming of Wally World? Does anybody have that?
I looked it up earlier.
Because I like some of those.
Six Flags Magic Mountain in
Yep.
Valencia, California.
Okay.
CGI
It
from
looked
the
like
outside.
a Six Flags.
CGI from the outside, and then the rides themselves, I'm sure, were.
The rides themselves looked like Six Flags rides.
Yep.
I was thinking that too. So credit to that. But they get there, and of course, we're shut down for maintenance.
Well, first off, we're the first ones here.
Yeah.
And they park all the way out in BF. That way we can get out faster.
What a dad. That's another just dad
Classic.
comment, too.
I do that. I was like, I'll park further away just so I don't have to deal with the traffic.
I don't know if I do it in that specific.
Oh, in that scenario, I'm parking right in front of the gate.
Yeah.
And
The first
the
one's
cool
here.
part about these movies and the directing and everything is the epitome of these scenes and the running. We're there. We're right at Wally World. I'll race you. And then they
All
get
this-
there.
The shit mountain.
Yep. And you're going
that you
right
climb.
up to the peak, and then it's an instant drop to the bottom.
Yeah.
And the vibes and the hitting the button and him reading it off, and then just the quick right hand. Just the right hand.
Mean right hand to Wally World there. What was the moose's name? Anybody got that one off the top of their head? But he caught a mean straight right.
Right to the beak.
Just
I do not
froze it. And it
I
just
think it's Marty.
Marty the
Marty
Moose.
the Moose.
Marty Moose.
Yeah. And he just stone cold slugs this moose. And it just messes up the whole recording. You can still kind of hear it too. It's like, we're still closed. Hey, we're still closed. Yeah. And I didn't know, and I know I brought him up earlier, but I forgot John Candy was in this movie.
Yep.
Marty, what a mean.
There it is. Look at that right
There.
Right on the, literally right on the button. Just
Yep.
right on the button. But John Candy, man, I love that guy.
Yep.
And
Jim.
I forgot he was in this. And then Clark goes, everything's boiled over at this point, and I think Marty owes us.
Yeah.
They owe us something for coming out here. They don't know what we just went through to get here. You know, our family member just died. Whatever. Pulls a gun on him. Dude, pulling the gun on him was just crazy. But they get their rides in. You know, John Candy's in a tough spot as the solo security guard of trying to keep people out, not expecting a crazy
doesn't-
He had his
Not
helper.
solo.
Doesn't
Here's
like
helper.
amusement park
Sit.
rides.
Lay down.
No, he's puked
Roll
on.
over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another.
Got a
Probably
fun
not-
fact for you. To
Let's hear it.
simulate nausea and fear, like while they're writing it, they basically made them ride the Screaming Mimi like, I don't know how many times, but many, many times to like
I think it was
get
like
them to feel like
seven,
sick. Yeah.
7 times. So it's like when they're looking like
They're
That's
actually
real.
feeling that.
that's real.
Yeah, that sucks.
I feel like
Those
you could have
spinning
acted
rides.
that good enough.
Well,
Not have
the
to do
wooden roller
7.
coasters, dude. Screw that.
Yeah.
Those things are bumpy
Those
as
are my
hell.
dad's favorite. Or
They're
I like
so
those.
rocky, man. They're not stable.
I like them.
They're good.
Stable
like-
enough.
They're good, but they hurt.
Dude, those spinning rides goes back to the big drops.
I
for me.
can't
Like,
do
I'm
the
just not-
spinning
no.
rides, man. Those just give me a headache. Like, give me I'll do any roller coaster, just not like the amusement park or like old settler rides.
They
where
have
it's the-
Valley Fair here in Minnesota. Brendan, did you ever go to Valley Fair?
When I was a kid, not when I lived there as a young adult.
Wild Thing is the most famous and the main ride there. Great ride.
I haven't been to an amusement park in a while, but I
Ours
do
was
like
the
'em.
salt and pepper shakers, and then it's the squirrel.
Valley Fair is not a Old Settlers. It's an actual
Oh,
amusement park.
is it like a
Yeah.
county? Oh, county. fair.
No, it's like a Six Flags of
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Oh,
It's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
way off.
Like they do Valley Scare and a bunch
Mhm.
of other things too.
Oh, gotcha.
But there's so many good quotes in this movie, but the moose says you're closed. I say you're open. Like, we're going in.
And the psycho, like you have to abide by what he's telling you, especially with a gun. You don't know if it's real or not.
No. No, he finds out, but it's like they had. I mean, good for Clark, I guess. Like Ellen's like, your dad's probably going to be going away for a while after we get out of here, you know. But we're getting the Moose is he owes us, and they got, I think their money's worth of the trip. They didn't pay to get in there,
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
but
it would have been so expensive. That's like going to Disneyland today's age.
yeah, it wouldn't have been cheap, and they were probably fresh out of cash, and cards were blocked off. So probably best case scenario to get in.
Wouldn't
Imagine
recommend.
like
Do
the
not
story,
recommend.
the plot was actually they get there and they can't get in because the card declines. They can't pay for it. Would have
probably do
not
the
been
same
as
thing.
cool.
It's kind of an interesting point. Like, what if they got there and the line is just to Kingdom Come, and they're just sitting in it all day, and by the time they get there, it's closed.
Who do you guys
Yeah.
think could play Clark Griswold today, legitimately, and would be funny?
Clark Griswold today.
I instantly kind of go to Will Ferrell, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's similar, I think, but I don't think his is dry enough. Like,
It's tough to say that because there's been so many movies like it, and Ed Helms obviously played him, and we didn't see it. But
Yeah.
like, I would go to like Sudeikis,
Yeah.
and he's been in a movie like this. But I think Jason Sudeikis has that bubbly personality of the characters he's played, that he
And
pull
can
this
let the
off.
humor ride, like not
He's
play
not
it
like.
off, or to
I mean,
play it
like
off.
Ted Lasso is one of my favorite shows ever, and like
Yep.
he's not a swear guy. You know, like he could definitely do the classic dad humor that you see in these movies.
that's a good. I think, yeah, and he has done a movie like that, but I think that would be a good comparison.
And he's a little more in that movie. He's a little more hardcore, a little bit more hardcore in More the Millers. I mean, they're intentionally smuggling drugs,
Right.
and he builds a fake family for it. But I think he could play this
Spoiler.
character pretty damn well. Yeah, right. But I think he has the capabilities to play a good Clark Griswold.
Okay.
I'd be interested
with
to see Ed Helms because the only Ed Helms things I've seen, he's been pretty vulgar. Like, he's pretty gets after you. I think he's funny,
Yeah.
but I think Sudeikis. I don't know if you thought of somebody else when you asked the question.
No, I didn't really have anything on the top of my head. I was just thinking of it today. Like if we're talking, you know, new actors being comedians and whatnot. But you could probably find a new guy from SNL.
Yeah,
You know,
no one off the top of my head. I don't watch as much SNL anymore. Like Shane Gillis isn't playing Clark
No,
Griswold.
but he-
I was thinking of Shane Gillis.
could.
Dude. I was
he could, but with his comedy now, you'd already get the Shane Gillis vibe off of it. Like with Chevy Chase, you just have a Chevy Chase vibe. Like he is this
Yeah.
guy. You know?
Right. Interesting question. I mean, I guess we have to watch the Ed Helms Vacation because we got to
and
see
let us know.
how to compare it.
If anybody
Yeah.
has a good actor that we didn't,
Or if
talk
you've
about.
seen it, did he do a good job or did the family do a good job? Because I haven't seen anything from that movie.
would you recommend it? Because if it's not good, I don't know if I want to watch it.
Storybook ending of this movie. Literally, like the SWAT team is called in on him, rightfully so. Psycho murderer, threatens security guards with gun to allow family to ride roller coasters and cross country travel trip where they killed a woman.
Mhm.
They didn't actually kill her, but there's a dead body traced on this track, and if they got in touch with the cop, drug a dog behind a car.
Yeah.
So the whole story fits without them knowing who Clark Griswold is. And then our boy Wally shows up and just not pressing charges.
Nope.
Clark, he's like, "Hey, kids, when I asked you where we wanted to go, what'd you say?" And Rusty's like, "No, why?" Just like, again, it's like Rusty's character is this dumbass kid that gets it a lot of times, and then the times where Clark needs him, he's just not there for him.
I don't think it's
It just
much of a
doesn't happen.
spoiler, but just this style of ending for National Lampoon's movies, like it carries over to the other, and I think it just knocks it out of the park. It's a perfect way to end the movie, especially like this. Like all the build up, climax in the movie, funny little ending. That's all you need.
Yeah, and then they
feel
get
good, right?
They get on the rides together. The cops and the SWAT
that's
team are all in the
hilarious.
back. Like, yeah, just not ever going to happen.
Right.
But like, it fits the mold of what we just watched for
Mhm.
hour and a half, 2 hours. But yeah, no, I mean, these movies are absolutely top tier. I know that we've got probably different favorites of them, what we talked about in terms of the Christmas and the Vegas. But again, it's like you can't watch this movie and not enjoy it. Like there's
Right.
no way, even if you've seen it countless times. The era, I mean, our parents, the era above us, like these movies are their bread and butter of comedy.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
And
my
it
dad was
shows.
really excited. He was really excited that we were watching the film today. I told him
I mean,
I rented it, and he's like, "Yeah, I gotta watch that."
I just don't see how, especially from that era, like if you're listening now, and I know we've got parents that listen, and if there's anybody that's found us that's older than us, and you're seeing these movies, like you go tell your kids, or you go tell the younger people in your life at work, like, dude, have you ever seen the Goonies? Have you ever watched the National Lampoon movies? Like movies is like music. It just brings different eras together. 'Cause if you can't sit down and watch a movie like this and think it's funny, because it's totally different comedy than what we're used to now.
Right.
Way more laid back.
And I
but just
definitely
more fun.
prefer this style. New
It's not
style
forced.
is not, yeah. It's
There's
too
no
scripted.
forcing.
Like
Yeah.
Geese had mentioned multiple times of like some improvs or off the cuff moments, and that's what makes a movie. And even off of your Mount Rushmore, Blazing Saddles, that type of humor.
Yeah, it's that type of humor. It's that
they say you can't do it anymore, but in reality, if you could still do it right without being as raunchy, and you could be a little more PC. Not that I give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, outside of like the nudity in this, I think you could make this movie today. And obviously they have, right? So it's not on that spectrum of you could never make this. I know we talked about it earlier. We're like, you could never make this in today's age, but I think it's pretty light when it comes to that raunchy comedy and the terms that we're talking about. But it's just so genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Like the comedy is so easy to understand. There's no built up punchline. Each scene has its own quotes and phrases that relate to that scene, and then it's on to the next. It's not like over the entire movie it's the same joke.
And you don't have to be necessarily locked in. Like you might miss a couple of the little tiny one-liners, like a couple words that just like if you were paying attention, they hit you like that's hilarious. But if you weren't, like you're still in on the movie and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Well, the rewatchability of this is what makes it an all-timer, because you catch little things every time you watch it. Like in the very beginning when when they're washing dishes, he doesn't clean them. He just puts them right back into the cabinet. So it's like the more times you watch it, the more times you're picking it up. You're catching phrases that you missed before. And so it's just like every time you watch it, it's just as enjoyable, no matter how many times that you've watched it.
Yep.
It's interesting that we've had like the summertime classics, and we didn't mean that in a term of like they all are classic movies, but when we were pulling from these lists and we were pulling from different sources of the all-time summer movies, whatever that means, we didn't necessarily have a criteria for what that was. It was more so just pulling them from different sources on the internet. Like a lot of them are these feel good, throw it on, you've seen it 1,000 times, and just be able to watch it again and you still get the same enjoyability out of it. It's kind of wild that we've gotten 3 from the 80s and 90s, and they're all on the list, and there's more that are on there. But I think it says something about what type of comedies they were making back then.
Yep.
It's just quality. It's just movie quality, and it applies to everything. But not saying that there weren't cash grabs back then, because now that we're in the future, we know what movies are good, right? But it just feels like the quality of movies that they've been putting out for like last 5 years maybe has just been quick cash grabs. Animation wise, it's just all CGI or 3D animation. Like this movie, they drove to all these states. Boone, Colorado, Utah, Sedona, Grand Canyon. That is all what makes this movie so endearing, is that it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and when you're remaking movies, and this one obviously felt like they remade it. Like, obviously, there's something to be said about if you're trying to bring a movie back that did so well back then, and then we try to just remake it, and you can't remake them nearly
No.
as well. There's differences between the live actions of animated Disney movies and trying to remake a movie that was live, real people, and then you try to remake it. Like, you just can't. You're never going to hit that same
Yeah, you
high
gotta
note.
you gotta spin it off enough where you're not trying to remake something. I would say the theme would be good because, I mean, I could see a new Vegas Vacation being hilarious with
Yeah.
a group or a family group or like a bachelor party, like the Hangover. Like it's the same type of vibe of a comedy, but a little more raunchy.
You just have to. I think you've got to pay homage and give credit where credit's due to if you're going to remake it, but also setting the standard of trying to make it your own. Because if you try to mimic exactly what they did, it
Which
doesn't
they
work
will.
anymore, and it just doesn't work anymore, and it's never going to be as good as the original.
Right, and it's harder to do with comedies, I think, because we were just talking about Jurassic Park and Jurassic World earlier. Like, action and mystery and thriller is such a different. It's way different than comedy. Way different. Making somebody laugh or making somebody scared or something like that it's a different level.
Well, and comedies are not going to be typically as funny the next time you watch it.
Right.
Whereas actions or thrillers or stuff, like, you might notice things you didn't before, and you could do that in a comedy, but the whole point is to make somebody laugh, and you're not going to get the same laugh as you got out of a joke the 8th time you heard it as the first time you heard it. And it's like those things are tough to do. So to remake a comedy it's not the smartest move to try to just absolutely mimic it.
No.
The setting and whatnot and characters can be the same, but trying to make it your own and make it a spin-off or a sequel or whatever you want to do with it is the better play, because it's as funny as the first time you watched it, and it can't be. So, but I like that we got to National Lampoon's Vacation, because we are definitely already thinking about the fact that we're going to have to tie in Christmas Vacation and Vegas Vacation.
Yeah.
By the time we get to the holiday season. So Vegas is going to get plugged in at some point up and coming to that. But again, just a great 3 banger classic movies for the summertime series. And the pot of the wheel is now going to be at $12 because nobody's gotten it the last 2 weeks. Trav is back. Maybe that comeback magic. But to get to the series finale of spinning the wheel, are we going to get something more modern? Or are we going to stick to the classical 80s, 90s era that we've had this entire time?
I think we're getting modern.
I hope we keep it the same.
I think our list is pretty classic, to be honest with you. I don't think there's a whole lot of modern, but we could do a whole theme on National Lampoon's movies.
Yep.
There's quite a few.
Shit ton of them. We can do a whole wheel on
Man Wilder.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot with them. But without further ado, Critter, let's see the wheel. Let's get those predictions in, and let's see what we're rounding out the series finale of the summer series with as we round this thing up. Coming out, I know this one's going to be released around 4th of July, if not on the morning of. And then the final one recorded will be the week of, as we bring it to the summertime series to a close.
Trav hasn't seen the new wheel.
Before we start this, Crit, can you pull up the theater poster for Vacation? I think it deserves an honorable mention because it's legendary.
They do a good job of making them all the same but different too.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly thought that's what your background was going to be this time, because I can't remember if I think Conan the Barbarian riffed off of this theme for this movie. And if you saw this at the theater, when Kurt gets it up, you would have no idea. Like, look at
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the movie whatsoever.
Their thumbnails were like the movie art was always pretty damn good. And kept somewhat of a theme going too. But yeah, you see that in the cutout of the theater.
You'd be like, that's not I'm in. And then you get there, it's a family movie.
I'll throw this out there so we can maybe fit Vegas Vacation in there. August is my birth month. I would recommend or request, we'll see what you guys think, of doing a Vegas month because there's Casino,
Oh
there's
yeah,
Hangover,
Oceans.
There's a lot of
Oceans.
There's a lot of-
all sorts of those. So maybe we can, pluck one out of the wheel and then spin it for the rest. But
yeah.
I just love that movie so much, and I think we have so many listeners that have seen Vegas Vacation that
You'll
would
get
enjoy
what
it.
Brent and I decide on, and you'll like it.
Yeah, this is a dictatorship.
It
Yes.
is in-house. Put that one in the suggestion box if you don't mind.
Shreds it.
But yeah, no, I think that we're probably getting a fourth classic. I'm not gonna lie. There's too many of them on the list.
Let's see.
Yeah, let me.
My screen left to right would be Trav, Geese, me, Crit for the guesses here. So Trav, we'll start it off with you.
I think the first one that came to mind was Caddyshack, and I'm not picking Caddyshack.
All right.
I'm going to pick Parent Trap. It's a little newer.
Geese?
I am picking Caddyshack.
He's gonna roll back Caddyshack. I think last week I went with I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm gonna go with the one I want the most, I believe, to bring John Candy back for another week. The Great Outdoors.
Yeah. Great movie.
I'm sticking with it. Stand by me.
Stand
rolling
by
with
me.
Good luck,
it.
gentlemen.
Good luck. $12 in the pot. Will anybody win it today, or will it roll over? How big will the pot ever get? This is the biggest pot we've had because $8 got hit already.
Speaking
Yeah.
of which, I got to pay up on my $2.
Uh-oh.
Oh, baby.
Caddyshack,
I'll-
double winner out of
pay you.
Geese.
You
I'll pay
guys
in
suck
cash.
at this
Dude,
game.
I thought this was going to be another one of those spin forevers, and I was like, oh shit, we're going to get I Know What You Did Last Summer. And that
I thought that's what
coming
it
out.
was. I thought it was going to keep going, but
I'm
Craig keeps
excited.
us on our toes.
This is one of my favorite movies
This
of all
is my
time.
movie, boys. This is
Yeah.
my movie.
Caddyshack with the old Bill Murray. This is the oldest one that we're going to have on the summer series of a
Hold on.
1980 comedy sport film.
Another Chevy Chase, baby. Back to back.
Yep.
Back to back
That
Chevy
is
Chase.
so weird. Craig, are you doing this on purpose? Because we get Goonies, Sandlot, somewhat, they have crossing themes. And then we get two Chevy Chases.
Love it.
First of all, if I was doing it on purpose, I would take your guys' money every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be smart. Or you could also build the pot up for suspense and then still stick
You guys
our
are-
ass at the end of it.
You guys don't have to lock me out. I'm raking over the coals.
I mean, they're great movies, so I'm not
Great movies. Another
Okay.
classic. Another classic, but another good episode. I mean, these have been fun to do. I know we've already kind of got an idea for next series of 4, which you'll find out on the wheel next time when we see it. But the series finale being the Caddyshack, one of the oldest films that we've watched. You can find it on Pluto TV for free if you guys are freaks out there and you've got Pluto TV. The Roku channel premium subscription. The rest you're going to have to pay for it. You could probably find it on actual live TV any day of the week.
It's on right now.
On right now. But what an unintentional classic movie kind of comedy month that we've done, but all feel good summertime movies, outdoors, whatever you want to look at it in terms of that summer classics that we decided from. But I think they've all fit, and I think they've all been fun, and I think they're all relatable in terms of you've watched them, we've watched them, we're going to watch them again together.
I'm going to watch this movie probably twice.
I'm all right. Nobody worry about me.
About me.
Caddyshack.
Golfers.
Another great episode.
Oh, why didn't you say golfers? That makes way more sense.
Hey, quit spoiling the next move.
Fuck it.
Thank you all for listening yet again. Give us the feedback. We took it. We went into it with the summertime series, and we've delivered, I think, pretty damn well on these movies. As said at the beginning of all 3 pods, if you haven't seen them, you got to watch them. We prefer you to watch them beforehand so that we can get the honest feedback. We can get the interactions and seeing if we sound like idiots in terms of what we thought of the movie, if we missed something, or if you thought it was horrible. We want to know that, and we can debate that. But, guys, make sure to tune in again next week. We are live on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We also are live on social medias everywhere. Not as much on TikTok, but we have an account, so it's worth something. But Instagram and X, everything happens on X. Find every episode announced on Mondays or Tuesdays if your boy's feeling a little lazy that week, getting it out to you a little bit sooner. and then drops on Friday mornings, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Give us a listen. We'll continue to try to make some content out there for you guys to interact with and get you more excited about what's to come next as we roll into the series finale of Caddyshack. Guys, we've been talking a lot about getting out in the theaters. I'm going a ton. We've got 2 A-list members now, or A-plus members, if that's what you prefer to call it, whatever makes you feel better at night when you pop your head on the pillow. But when you get there, the good news about the A-list is that free upgrade to the large popcorn is going to cost you nothing because you're paying monthly for the fee and getting free movie tickets. And when you're at home, we talk a lot about popping popcorn in the microwave, but get yourself one of those cool silicone buckets, the popper, the Premier Popper. We're going to start trying to figure out some different devices that we have. I have a little vacuum machine that you put the butter in at the bottom and you put the kernels in and just kind of start shooting out, and you can put your bowl out. Kind of a cool little, difference than showing, a microwave popping, because that's old school. So get the stovetop popper, get yourself a popcorn machine at home, try to buy one from an old dive bar and get it vintage if they're not using it anymore. But when you guys pop the popcorn at home or you're getting it in theaters and you head over to put a little bit of that butter on there, don't forget to put a little bit of extra on there, because you're going to need it for the film. Guys, thanks for listening. Follow, like, subscribe, drop a comment, tell us what you think. Excited to see you next time on Extra Butter.
Extra, extra butter on the corn for me. Extra, extra butter. I hope they don't charge a fee. But it won't matter anyway. I got a good movie to play. I'm gonna ask my friends to stay extra butter for me.